Welcome to Dish with Donald
and Lisa.
Don't we look fab? I think we look fab, and we're only fabulous because of Charles Martin, our hairstylist and makeup artist.
Yes, and he doesn't seem to mind the little windblown look, which is good because for a beautiful September day, it's a little windy. He did a great job.
I know I looked a lot better 10 minutes ago, but yeah, but not bad. You know, speaking of looks, right? One of the things that we, working in the media, it's a very visual.
Yes. And
thing.
Superficial business.
I mean, I had a gig. I was potentially had a gig 8 years ago, and I met with them, and they said, we want a you, but a younger you.
Oh,
have you went through that?
Oh, not so much a younger me, but that we've just got too many already like you. Like I just came out of the host store.
Right. Yeah.
and they had a whole shelf, and I'm just one more. So yeah, I get that kind of thing. I even. Plastic surgery has been suggested.
Oh.
Because when you get to be about, I don't know, in your fourth decade or so, if you want to stay in media, you're expected to not have a wrinkle or a line or a laugh line or anything like that. So.
I know. I can't even believe that, especially with you. You look fabulous. But I myself am not into plastic surgery. And I remember when I was on Facebook, I posted about that, and I got called a bully. And I find it interesting because of our theme today.
Yes.
We got a lot of stuff about visual, of how, as people in London, if you're vocal and opinionated, how much can you express your opinion?
That's right. I find that on Twitter, you might even get away with it a little bit more or find more people who are like-minded. But on Facebook, for some reason, people just love to jump all over you and be negative and tell you why you're wrong.
Right.
Why you can't have that. You can't have that opinion. How dare you?
Right.
It's annoying.
It is annoying, but the beauty of Twitter, which now I am totally a Twitter whore, the beauty is you're expected to be opinionated.
Yes.
And you have to come up with in so many symbols, right? So
right.
many letters.
140 characters.
Yeah.
So you have to be clever as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it makes you try a little bit harder, and that's a good thing about it.
It's bizarre. I mean, you lose Facebook friends when you're honest, and when you're honest on Twitter, you gain them.
I know.
That's how you get a following.
It's really a weird dynamic.
Right.
I wanted to tell you about the one time I went to a dermatologist, and I went there actually because I was having an adult acne breakout. And as I sat there, and the dermatologist came toward me with a pencil, and he said, you've got bunny lines. We can get rid of those. Wow. And I said, what are bunny lines? And he said, squint. So I squinted, and he drew pencil marks on my nose and said, those are awful. We can get rid of those. I mean, you're starting a little bit late, but I said, I'm here for acne. Can we deal with my acne, please?
That's horrible.
Yeah,
did he have a sideline contra with?
He did plastic surgery on the
did
side.
himself. So
he wanted to put fillers and everything into me, and I just didn't want it. If I was going to get fillers, it would be up on my forehead and just make everything not move. But I don't. To each their own, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. As a feminist, I don't tell women how to be and their choices, and I think that's one of the subjects we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Is how women are told what to do, what choices is in terms of surgery. I don't believe in that. When I say I don't believe in plastic surgery, I'm talking about myself. I have friends who do Botox, teach their own. But we have to be able, if we're dishing, to be able to say how we feel.
Yes. And if you have a dermatologist who decides on his own that he wants to fix something you've never said is something you want fixed, that's a problem. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, I think that since the first time we met, I mean, we've just dished naturally, but respectfully. And that's exactly what we're doing with the show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be about honesty. And sometimes there'll be a little bit of negative stuff because we're being honest and we're telling the truth. There's no point in covering it up, or then we're not dishing.
But if you go too far as a guest, you're going to get...
That was easy.
Yes.
That's our hook.
That's our hook, yes. Right?
And yes. We didn't have to do it in show number 1.
No, we didn't.
But we'll see if we have to do it this time.
Someday I'm hoping we will be able to use it.
I know.
Please have a guest that brings it, right?
And then they'll just give us a quizzical look and
yeah, I know.
We'll stop talking.
Exactly. But I just hope you don't use it on me.
Oh, no. Are you kidding?
Don't take dishing too far, okay?
No.
Okay.
No, we're good. We're good. No worries there. We'll be back in just a moment, and we're going to have a special guest talk about the F word that you can't say in a lot of mixed company in London, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
We'll tell you what it is.
welcome back. Our first guest is Megan Walker, Executive Director of LAWC, London Abused Women's Centre. It's been ages. How's Morris, Megan?
Oh my gosh, he's so wonderful. He's still cooking up a storm like you're, Morris.
I know. Enough about them.
Yeah.
So, is feminist an F word in London?
I think the term feminist is an F word pretty much across the world for those who don't understand its meaning. And really what we're trying to say is that we believe in a life for women that supports equality rights and the liberation of women across the world. And most people will buy into that if they know that's what you're talking about.
And if they know it doesn't mean anti-men. I don't know where it got confused along the way somewhere, but I know in our newsroom we get rather strong reaction to the word sometimes, and it's disappointing.
Yeah, it is disappointing, and many times people will think you hate men and that you exclude men, and yet at the London Abused Women's Centre, most of our volunteers are men. And our board, as you know, Donald, as a past member of our board of directors, includes men. We welcome men because we do believe that if we're ever going to end violence against women, it's not just the effort of women that will make that difference, but of course, men have to hold other men accountable for their behavior and engage.
Well, women never would have been able to vote if men didn't come on board. You know what I mean? All these gains that women have made, exactly, but you have to have some men who will further the cause as well. I mean, there's no one anti-men here.
Well, I find that F word a real mood killer. It doesn't stop me, but it really is. I mean, it is. It's interesting. I do it on purpose because it determines the spirit of the room sometimes. And how, obviously you aren't in the closet ever about this.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty clear everywhere I go. I'm a radical feminist. I believe in women's liberation. I believe in equality rights for women. And I have never said that all men are abusers. What I always say is that we know that the majority of abusers, statistically at this point in our lives, happen to be men. But we also know that the majority of men are not abusers.
But Megan, do you ever, you are involved in so many things, do you ever feel like, I don't feel like pouncing today?
No, because it's who I am. You know, it's funny, I've been at LAWC for 18 years, and I've been a feminist for much longer than that, and I've never thought of going into work as a job. It's something I love, and I never think of myself as anything but a feminist. It's actually who I am to my very core.
The biggest feminists I know are men.
It's my calling card. I'm more a feminist than a gay activist. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know, I just think that's an interesting discovery to make.
Absolutely. In our beginning chat, we talked about looks and visuals, and you're very open about your double mastectomy.
Yep,
Talk about that.
Yeah, I'm 5 years cancer-free now.
That's
and
awesome.
So it's pretty exciting. So 5 years ago, I self-discovered a lump on my breast. And went in, and it turned out to be cancerous. And given some of our family history and other things in my life, I decided, along with my physicians, that having a double mastectomy was the right way to go, as well as removing my ovaries because my cancer was caused by too much estrogen. And I have, my breasts have never been the significant part of who I am. I don't really care about that. So I chose not to have reconstructive surgery, and I'm just really happy with who I am.
Absolutely, and that's the wonderful thing about making a choice for your own body. No one should have an opinion on it even.
And that's a really good point, because I would never tell another woman what to do in her situation.
No. Why do women tell other women, like what about Angelina Jolie?
Or judge them on it.
What do you think about that?
So I think it takes a lot of courage. I was not courageous. I had my breasts removed because I had cancer. Angelina Jolie made a decision because of the gene that she carried, and I think it takes an incredible amount of courage for anybody to make the decision to have a mastectomy, let alone somebody that actually isn't even diagnosed with cancer. And I just think kudos to her. Now, it's different in the States, of course, because some of the criticism came at her because she was a woman of privilege and could afford the health care to have a double mastectomy prophylactically. In Canada, fortunately, we don't have to worry about that.
What with LAWC, where are you at now? Like you've had a lot of your breakfast is like biggest thing of the year in London.
We just continue to grow in leaps and bounds, and we're at about $1.2 million in our budget now, which is, it just grows and grows. And really that's because of this community. Londoners are so generous, not only with their financial resources, but with their time and their commitment. And I could not imagine living in a better city for what we do.
I have to tell you, I look at Purple and I think of Purple in the Park, Purple, Shine the Light.
Yeah.
You've done a great job of tying that together.
And that's now gone across the country,
Yeah,
throughout Ontario, now into other provinces. And actually, I've had a meeting recently with Vito Frugia from the London Lightning, and they're planning on taking the Shine the Light campaign across the entire league now. So it is so incredible. And that Purple campaign increases our demand for service each November by more than 100%. And so to me, that says, you know what, Londoners, you're making the difference.
Is that just awareness? Is it awareness that it brings?
Yep, so it brings public awareness about the issue and also the profile of agencies that can help. But probably the most important thing it does is it shifts that shame and blame that women feel so often for their own victimization to the shoulders of those who are doing the abuser. And so they feel supported in reaching out and speaking about
Megan,
it.
we just love giving any amount of time we can to you and your causes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and all the best on your new show. I'm so excited for you both.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Up next, we're going to have quite a change of pace. I think we might have some laughs.
Welcome back. Joining us now is actually a colleague of mine, a stand-up comic and radio host, Dave Lawrence, who you can hear on weekends on 98.1 Free FM. Welcome.
Hi, thanks. I'm so excited to be here. It's amazing.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
I passed on Letterman so I could do this.
Well, he has
last
sort of
show.
folded his tent, so
Yeah.
Are you going to twack? What is that anyway?
Do you remember that?
I
Twacking?
do. Yeah.
What is
Hello, I did my
It was my
research.
gut. It was my. It was like my Muppet Baby version of twerking as a little duck, and shaking your bum as a duck,
So
and
you
I
answered
called
my
it
question.
twacking.
You're doing it. You're twacking.
I'll
All right.
we
do
are
it.
frustrated stand-up comics.
Yeah, we are. That's
Like
the-
really, if I had to do it over again, and I've told you this before, and
Yeah.
you've talked me out of it, but that if I had to do it over again, I think I would really have given it a good try. And I know it's not the glamorous, it's not all Louis C.K. at the top of his game.